Well, let me tell y'all something. If you're watching these noon games and you are not standing in your living room or wherever you're at, jumping around and hollering and yelling and screaming, are you even a college football fan? These are three of the best games I have seen all season long, and are on at the exact same time. Red River Shootout, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. One of the craziest first halves I've seen in a long, long time. Maryland and Ohio State, all tied up at 10. I got a lot to say about that, too. LSU Missouri, looked like Missouri was going to run away with it. LSU came back a little in the second quarter. We'll talk about that one, too. Great games on today. The Red River rivalry. The first 8 minutes of this game, I'm not kidding, was the most unbelievable 8 minutes I've probably seen to start a game in my entire life. In the first 8 minutes of this game, you had two interceptions, one thrown right at the goal line. You had a blocked punt. You had a reverse on a kickoff for a huge return that was called back because the reverse was a forward lateral. You had a blocked punt for a touchdown. All that was in the first 8 minutes of the first quarter. Unbelievable first half in the Red River rivalry. And like I said, you are not a college football fan if you are not watching that game and you're yelling and screaming. Absolutely unbelievable. Your score at halftime, Oklahoma 20, Texas 17. Oklahoma kicked a field goal as time expired at the end of the second quarter to retake the lead. They're up 3 at halftime, and it's going the second half. Stop whatever you're doing right now and watch the second half of this Red River rivalry. It is going to be amazing. If it's half as good as the first half, it's going to be unbelievable. Now, can we talk about this pile of shit known as the Ohio State offense? It doesn't exist. I guess Ryan Day is going to have to find a microphone. Maybe this time you can yell at me, Ryan Day. Ohio State's got 16 yards rushing against the Turtles of Maryland in the first half. 16! Until the last drive, they had under 100 yards passing. 126 yards passing. Kyle McCord's 8 of 15. Barely 50% completion. 0 touchdown passes. The only touchdown Ohio State has scored was a defensive touchdown, a pick 6. Maryland has outplayed Ohio State in the first half of this game. They've got a better quarterback and a better running game. Ohio State's defense is the only thing keeping them in the game. But the offense is softer than a jar of green pea baby food. 16 yards rushing. Travion Henderson, Mayan Williams, what all these running backs y'all supposed to have. It turns out that maybe in the offseason, maybe in the 8 months from January to August, Ohio State should have spent some time preparing and developing players for the 2023 season. But they didn't do that. What'd they do? Instead, they whined, cried, bitched, moaned, and rubbed their vaginal area about losing to Georgia in the playoffs. And this is coming off of a bye week? You had a bye week, and this is the offensive performance you put out on the field against Maryland at home. You're at home. You're at home coming off a bye week. You know, I said, well, Notre Dame's got a good defense, so that's why Ohio State struggled to score there. This is I don't know what I'm watching here with this Ohio State. It's unrecognizably bad. 10-10 with Maryland at halftime. Good luck in the second half. We'll see what happens. LSU and Missouri third quarter just underway. It looked like Missouri was on their way to blowing them out. They were up 22-7 at one point. LSU then scored a touchdown to make it 22-14. Then they kicked a field goal, made it 22-17. Then Missouri kicked the field goal right at the end of the first half. 25-17 is your score. LSU's got the worst secondary in all of college football. I'm serious. I watch a ton of football. I watch 12, 15 hours of football every Saturday. I have not seen a secondary as bad as LSU's. It's horrendous. There are players wide open 15, 20 yards down the field almost every single time Missouri drops back to throw the ball. And we all know what happened last week against LSU or against Ole Miss. LSU gave up 700 yards in that game. And they trailing Missouri here. Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback. He obviously can run around and make a lot of plays with his legs, and his passing game has developed this year too. If somebody doesn't teach that dummy how to slide or run out of bounds, he's not going to make it through the season, which is what happened last year. This guy, first of all, he weighs like 80 pounds. He takes more big hits in a game than any quarterback I've seen since Tim Tebow. Problem is, he ain't built like Tim Tebow. You know, Tim Tebow's like 5'2", but he's stocky. He's built like a tree trunk. He's built like a stump. You know, Tim Tebow looks like a tree that got cut off at the 5-foot mark. Jaden Daniels looks like a couple of wet spaghetti noodles running down the field. Somebody's got to teach that kid how to slide, because I don't like seeing people get hurt. It's funny. We laugh when we see like players pick up Jaden Daniels like a trophy, like a rag doll, and set him on their shoulder and tote him around, like he's a fucking G.I. Joe figure or something. That's funny. But watching him take these big hits, he's going to get killed. And I don't like to see that. They need to teach this kid to slide or run. He took a hit on the sideline. I'm like, why don't you step out of bounds, man? I mean, he's going to get killed. Anyway, LSU secondary is absolute trash. Doesn't really matter. They already have 2 losses. They're out of the playoffs anyway. And considering they're in the SEC West, I'm surprised they're even this close to Missouri. The SEC West is garbage. Now, no undefeated teams. Meanwhile, the SEC East got, 3 undefeated teams? Georgia, Kentucky, Mizzou. Now, only 2 after today, though, because Kentucky's got to lose. But they're losing to another SEC East team. The SEC is just miles better than the SEC West. I know that makes y'all mad to hear, but it's just a fact and the truth. Anyway, I'm going to get back to live stream. We're live streaming. If y'all want to come hang out, I'm live right here on the channel. Been live streaming these noon games. The second half of these games is going to be unbelievable, by the way. So, anyway, come hang out. We'll watch some football and have a great day.